It's been about a month since the inauguration. COVID is still around and inventory is still low. This last month, the available homes decreased from around 3,750 homes to about 3,540 homes for the amount of homes that are currently available on the MLS. During that time, the amount of homes under contract have increased from around 5,000 homes on the entire Northwest Multiple Listing Service to about 5,700 homes. And that's continuing the story of less inventory on the market and more of a fierce competition and getting an offer accepted. We're also hearing that up to a $15,000 first-time homebuyer credit may be available in the coming months for first-time homebuyers. That means that this fiercely competitive seller's market could be compounded by an increased advantage for first-time homebuyers. The average price per square foot over the last couple months has consistently been around $303, and for the last month in January specifically, it was around $302 per square foot. Now, part of that is that we know there is a limit to what appraisers are willing to appraise homes for in this market. You simply cannot continue to increase month over month and expect appraisers in this market to just substantiate that value. However, what that brings up is that in this market, in order to get an offer accepted, most people are having to not just negotiate inspection and appraisal in order to get their offer accepted, but what we're seeing is buyers consistently being willing to pay essentially a 2022 price for a 2021 home. What that means is that if a buyer presents an offer that is 5, 10, 15% more than the list price of a home, the seller wants to know straight from the beginning that that buyer is able to come up with the cash in the event that that appraisal comes in low on their purchase. On average, homes are staying in the market for about 27 days before going under contract. Now, keep in mind, in specific areas like Pierce County, these homes are staying in the market maybe 2 or 3 days, and instead of the average sale price of around 100%, these homes are selling for 105, 110, sometimes up to 120% of the list price. So depending upon which area you're in, which specific market you're looking in, the buyers might be competing in a completely different way. In the Pierce County market, what we're seeing is about 30% of buyers or more on a lot of these homes are completely waiving the inspection, if not asking for a pass-fail inspection, or what we call informational purposes only inspection, where they're committing in advance to not negotiate on anything, but maybe at least retain the opportunity to inspect the home and make sure that it's everything that they hoped it is. Now, while it is a really intense seller's market and very competitive for buyers, for about the first time in the last 7 months, we've seen a slight increase in the overall months of inventory, with months of inventory increasing from about 0.5 months to 0.7 months. Now, that might not sound like a lot, but it is about a 25% increase in a lot of areas for seeing a few more homes on the market and a little bit more options with less buyers competing for the same couple houses in one city. We hope that you find this information helpful. We want to make sure that as buyers and sellers in the Pacific Northwest that you feel educated and informed on the market that you are working in. One of the oversights that people often have in this market as a first-time home buyer, or even sometimes as a second-time home buyer, is remembering that commission is paid for as a buyer by the seller of the transaction. And that means as you're going out and looking at homes, as you're hoping to compete in this market, that your service is actually covered by the seller. It's invaluable in a market as competitive as ours to have somebody who is representing you, negotiating on your behalf, and knows what it takes to get an offer accepted. So remember that in Washington State, it's typical for the seller to pay for the commission for the buyer being the buyer's agent. And there's really no loss if you starting to reach out to an agent that you trust, maybe on the PNW team, maybe to somebody that you know who can really start to answer the questions of what it takes to start the process of buying a home. Again, we hope you found this information helpful. We produce these market updates every month in hopes to keep buyers and sellers informed in the Pacific Northwest. So feel free to follow us to catch the next one. Thank you so much for watching.